Welcome to Pour the Wine, It's Rom-Com Time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Garry.
And we have some very special guests joining us today. We originally reached out to Rich and Rene, the co-hosts of the Forever Hallmark Christmas podcast, about collaborating on a review of a Christmas movie, and we landed on a holiday spectacular to review. Now, Rich and Rene have a really cool segment on their podcast where they share fun, behind-the-scenes facts, sometimes even from the creatives behind the scenes. When they started reaching out to a few people connected to a holiday spectacular, one thing led to another, and what began as a simple crossover idea has turned into something even more special. So today we're beyond thrilled to not only be joined by the Forever Hallmark Christmas podcast, Rich and Rene, but also by the writer of A Holiday Spectacular, Julie Sherman Wolfe. So welcome, everyone. We're so happy you're here.
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
And with that, I will hand it over to Rich to formally introduce Julie.
If you're a Hallmark fan, you probably don't need much introduction. But so I originally reached out to John Putch, who had directed the film, and he was so forthcoming with information. He just wanted to tell me everything and anything about the production itself, how it all came together, the filming in Radio City Music Hall. Sent me a big old list. Anything more you need to know, Rich, just let me know. He was so happy to talk about it. Then he hit me, Rich, you need to contact Julie and talk to Julie. I said, ooh, I don't know if I'm quite ready for that. Which is kind of funny because we'd corresponded with Ron Oliver and Mark Amato and Janet King, other Hallmark writers. And I go, but this is Julie Sherman Wolfe, who's written literally some of my favorite Hallmark Christmas movies.
I know.
And then I go, I don't know about this, John. He goes, I insist. I want you to name drop me in the very first sentence. And Julie got back to me. So yeah, he's great. And then Julie got back to me the next day, said, hey, tell me all about it. I'd love to join you guys. And here she is. So
that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
And
That
it was
very
fun.
nice.
Well, Rich kept sending us updates. He's like, you're never going to believe this. You're never going to believe what John said. You're never going to believe Julie's on board. And we were so excited.
and then we had to make sure like Hallmark was fine.
Right,
like spilling the tea.
Understandable.
Not too much tea really, but just, we like to make sure everybody's happy.
Yeah.
The people who hire me for things.
We want you to keep working there, Julie. It's fine. It's fine.
Also,
Sure.
All right. So, Julie, let's get into your relationship with Hallmark. How did that get started? And what was it about that style of storytelling that really clicked for you as a writer?
So, well, I started in sitcoms. So I was doing stand-up. I'm going to tell the longest story as short as I can.
No, you're good.
I was in San Diego. I had graduated from UCSD, a school I could never get into now ever. The way it's so huge now. But I went there. I was a writer, just a normal writer. And then when you don't live in LA, or if you don't know anyone in the industry, you don't think about being a screenwriter. It does not even cross your mind because there's no internet. There's no there was internet, but barely. There just wasn't a way to sort of become part of that world if you didn't already know it existed. It just never occurred to me. So I was doing advertising, copywriting, just living in San Diego, hanging out, doing that. One day I got laid off. I got downsized from the ad agency. And then I also got dumped by my boyfriend of 3 years, same day. I had stand-up. I had a stand-up slot that night at like 11:30, big headline spot. 11:30 p.m.
Oh my God.
So I went, I'm like, do I really want to do this? I don't feel very funny. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I went, I met Rich Scheidner, who used to be a big stand-up, and he was a writer on Roseanne. And we were talking. He's like, well, let me get this straight. And this is what he says. He's like, well, you're funny and you're a chick. So why aren't you in LA writing sitcoms? You would get hired in a second, and then you could probably do that. And it was just that moment of like, oh my God, that's what I totally should be doing. It literally did not occur to me until that moment. And I saved some money, waited table. 6 months later, moved to LA, lived in the hood.
Well,
my neighbors were ladies of the night and their pimps. And
interesting lives, right?
Could have gone that way with my career, to be honest. So, I had it right there for the taking.
Options.
Yeah, I had options. And then, so I did sitcoms for a long time. And then, and I did a little animation and I started kind of doing Disney Channel, sort of young adult sitcoms and stuff like that. But comedy was always my thing. But I always really, really loved the romantic comedy genre. I worked at a movie
Mhm.
theater of the same summer that When Harry Met Sally came out
Oh my
and
gosh.
just loved that medium. But again, never thought about writing that way.
Right.
When we had the very first writer's strike, I think it was 2007. Now I don't
Yeah,
remember.
oh
No,
seven, oh eight, somewhere in there.
seven,
I
something
think
like
oh
that.
eight, maybe. Yeah.
That's when I started kind of transitioning, and I had a minute to work on something. And I had done a couple of TV movies. I did a Disney Channel one that was not a romantic comedy, but it was a TV movie. And and then I did one for Lifetime that was an outlandish plot of a woman who marries herself called I Me Wed, and that was my first rom-com sale. But I just had that time to write that long form comedy, romantic comedy, and I just loved it. And I really felt like it was easier for me because I just love it so much. And I had all
Mhm.
my favorite movies were rom-coms really. So after kind of getting my foot in the door with the Lifetime movie and the Disney Channel movie, which won an award, it still took me a good 5 years to get into Hallmark.
Wow.
And
Oh wow.
I tried a bunch of times and a bunch of pitches and it wasn't working. And I finally got one in. It was Hello, It's Me. I guess 2013-ish, somewhere like that. And that one, thankfully did well and people really liked it. And that just sort of kept me going there. And I was, happy to do nothing but that
Right.
since then,
Yeah.
basically. Um, and I still like comedy, but I feel like I get to do that within what I'm writing, and I really
Right.
try to make it entertaining, and it doesn't, because drama is kind of easier. Writing just, I can make you cry so much easier than laugh. It's just,
Right.
so, but I just love it so much, and I'm happy that I can't believe I'm still getting to do it this many years later. I'm just very grateful for that, and that I
Right.
got in there when I did, right when it was getting to be the zeitgeist, the cultural zeitgeist that it has become. I
Right.
got in right when that
Yeah.
was starting to happen.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, it was great.
That's incredible. I mean, when you think do you ever have any contact with that ex-boyfriend and say, "Look at me now." Drop
I
the mic.
I actually, this is
Yo,
so
how you
funny.
doing?
I was in Vegas, and I saw him bartending at like a bar
Mm.
at a hotel in Vegas, and I was there for something fabulous. I don't remember what
Yep.
it was, but it was very, it was very much that. And what I actually sort of just felt like, okay, it's fine because like I'm married now to the right person, so like I
Right,
don't care.
right.
It didn't. I was already with him when I saw him, so I didn't feel like being petty about it. But
Yeah.
Right, right.
it's just
But
interesting, because you think
inwardly I would be
every
like,
woman thinks the
"Hi."
breakup is that person. How am I going to do any better? Am I going to find anybody else? And that goes into what I write all the time. But like, you always think at that moment, like, well, that was it. It's over. I'm never going to
It's
find
How is
anybody
this not already a Hallmark movie?
That's right.
This
else.
premise sounds great.
That's right.
Yeah. So I mean, and then of course you look back and be like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Yeah. You kind of have everyone. I want everyone in the world to basically have a moment of finding the right person and looking back and thinking, what was I thinking?
Mm.
Without making the ex-boyfriend, we can't make him too awful because then
Right.
it reflects upon the main character. We're always careful about that. The ex-boyfriend cannot be the worst person in the world, or else why would she be with him, and why would we care
Right.
for her if she
Right.
has such
Right.
bad taste? You know?
Right.
So, so excuse me.
So when you started writing these rom-coms, you mentioned When Harry Met Sally and all these old rom-coms from the 80s and 90s you used to love. Did you kind of find inspiration from the Nora Ephrons and Nancy Meyers of the world, or do you
Oh,
kind of just
100%.
create,
Yeah.
or did you just blaze your own style and said, no, I'm gonna kind of do
I
my
mean,
thing? And
it's like the genre was them right when I
Right.
was the peak person as that audience, with all the Nora Ephron stuff and Harry Met Sally. But I also love Pillow Talk and all kind of the old time Philadelphia Story and all the stuff that came up
Mm.
beforehand. Because the thing about Hallmark is, you can't write a sex scene. You can't write too much. It's rated G. So you're almost
Yeah.
depending on the banter and the wordplay of the old style movies more than you would on When Harry Met Sally, because they all had a little more freedom as far as what they could say and do.
Right.
It's actually a challenge, and it's fun to really show romance and people falling in love without getting it past the rated G level. And that's what
Absolutely.
they used to do. So I find those really informative to always keep watching every so often, and just remember that it's all about that banter, that His Girl Friday, that Philadelphia Story, all that stuff. Pillow Talk is my kind of, Pillow Talk, and then Singing in the Rain, you can kind of call a rom-com, but not really, but sort of, but that's one of my favorite movies. So yeah, that's, but my style is very, I mean, I definitely have a style for Hallmark. It's just kind of fast and a little snarky, probably, if you asked anybody.
Well, the majority of my favorite movies were written by you, so.
Is that right?
When we looked at your list, we were talking about that really far.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we have a debate with Rich and Rene about Tyler Hines' best performance, and we actually think it was in Always Amore, which we just adored.
Sorry, it's an unexpected
movie.
Christmas. I love Julie and all, but boy.
But that's okay. That's okay. It's just good banter.
I think that Paul had a concussion for a good portion of that shoot. So you can rewatch Always Amore and try and find the fun scenes where, not Paul, I mean, Tyler. Tyler had a concussion.
Tyler, oh, really? He did?
At some point during that shoot, yes, I found out many.
Unexpected fun facts.
Yes, there you go.
There you go.
That was like, I haven't watched it since I found that out, but I bet you could watch it and try and say like, oh yeah,
and try to see, yeah.
He's a lovely, lovely person. I really loved working with him.
Yeah, he seems so great. And what movie number was that for him? Was he maybe?
Oh man,
it was early. Was it fairly early for him?
Always Amore. I'm not sure.
I mean, 2017 was his Christmas Eve, and that was his first one he'd ever worked with.
His first one.
Oh yeah.
So
I lost track of them.
I know. They all blend. All right, so let's get into a holiday spectacular. It originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on November 27th, 2022, and stars Gina Claire Mason and Derek Klena. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the iconic Anne Margaret is also in it. You can find the extended cut right now streaming on Hallmark Plus.
Yep, and it was directed by John Butch and written by our lovely guest, Julie Sherman Wolfe.
Set in 1958, it follows Maggie, who sneaks up to New York City to make her secret dream come true, dancing live on stage in the Christmas spectacular at Radio City Music Hall, putting her high society wedding plans on hold. And now we will turn it over to Rich for some fun facts about the movie.
Yeah, so a lot of these came from John Butch. Some came from, I saw some interviews that Gina Claire Mason did after the filming. So, Julie, you can fact check me on any of these you want to, or kind of maybe chime in with your own thoughts. But I know the filming took place in January and February of 2022, right after, I believe, the Rockettes' 2021 season ended, because a lot of the Rockettes were still around and took part in the movie. I know it was filmed inside Radio City Music Hall. I think John said you guys had about 3 days of filming at Radio City.
It was unbelievable. It was surreal to be standing there and looking out.
And I think that's one of the reasons the movie feels so authentic. And you had those like 1950 Chevys right in front of Radio City.
Amazing. Those are my favorite pictures. The ones I was standing outside with all those cars with the name of the. Well, I'll get into that in a second.
But I know, and I believe you were there, Julie. There was a movie premiere that 200 Rockettes showed up for that Hallmark put on. Tell us about that.
That was a crazy night because it was the first movie premiere at Radio City in 40 years, I think. And I'm one of these weird people who I don't live in the moment. I have a lot of trouble remembering things after they happen. So I'm having a great time. And then I think it's an ADHD thing, from what I've been told. But I do remember pulling up and just like walking up and seeing, so it was the Holiday Spectacular on the marquee, and just being, I don't even know. I was just overwhelmed. It was just overwhelming. And then the Rockettes all did their thing. And then Kristen Chenoweth came out. And
oh my gosh,
did a performance for maybe 1,000 people who were there, And then I'm like, and I said to my husband, because Jenna Claire was Glinda on Broadway
Right.
Right.
in the more recent, like right before this movie, and obviously Kristen Chenoweth, originated the role. We had, we had so much. We could talk about the Broadway insanity of our cast in a second, because like Derek and Jenna Claire and everybody. But I said to my husband, if she and Kristen Chenoweth sing For Good, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. And they did. And I was
Wow.
just bawling. I mean, it was just beautiful, because Jenna Claire ended up singing Elphaba's part.
Wow.
But she knows it. I mean, it's not like she didn't know the harmonies and all that stuff, but it was just like, that's the thing where I have to watch it on my video that I have of it, because I can't even remember the moment, because I was just like, ugly crying, just standing there watching.
I was just going to ask, is there a video of it? And if so, we need to see it. So.
There is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why I'm allowed to even share it, because it's like
All right,
totally like private, thing. And it was just crazy. I couldn't believe that happened. It was an amazing night. And then that night, after the after party, I was hanging out with Ashley Williams, and then she's like, it was like 2 a.m, and she's like, oh, I have a kind of an idea for a movie, and we started talking about it. I'm like, this is great. And then we ended up bringing Ali Sweeney in, and then we ended up selling that idea that was born that night, and that became the 2 Barcelona movies.
Oh my gosh, how cool.
Nice.
What a great night that turned out to be. Oh my gosh.
Another 2 movies I loved.
Yep.
Oh, did you? Oh, thank you. Yes. I love it. I did get to go. I did fly out for that for a couple of days with, I had no reason to be there. The script was written, but it was a good excuse to go to Spain.
They were doing a podcast during that, right? During that shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Ah.
Again, don't remember anything except my pictures. I'm sorry. I'm glad Renee's nodding like, yes, I understand.
I do understand.
It's so bad.
Look, I'm right there with you. So
we mentioned Anna Margaret, and
Yes.
we also had Eve Plum from Jam from the Brady Bunch. I mean, are you kidding me?
I know that picture for me, one of my favorite pictures is me and Jan Brady. And it was just like, the whole thing. And now Derek is a Savannah Banana, and he
is he really?
Right.
He is killing it. He is doing. He's basically singing Broadway numbers every single night and then pitching. It's crazy.
Oh my
That's
god!
so funny.
He pitched Division I, UCLA. He was a pitcher.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they brought him in, and it's like I didn't want to text. I didn't want to bother him, because I'm sure everyone's asking for tickets, because you can't even get tickets to this. But I was like, this is so perfect. This is the most perfect thing I've ever seen. And you can see him on YouTube, but he's just killing all these songs and doing all these amazing performances every single time he goes out there.
Wow.
Yeah, he literally walks out. He's singing a song. He's got all of his other players as backup dancers behind him. Next thing you know, they throw him a mitt, throw him a ball, and he's pitching the first inning of a baseball game. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean,
we have to go to one. We haven't been to
it's
a
such
Savannah
a great concept.
Yeah.
I am dying.
It's like the Harlem Globetrotters in basketball.
In baseball.
Only
I
in
think it's better. I'm
Yeah.
dying to go. I just, I'm not gonna, I know Derek, and I, talked to him a few times, but I wouldn't. That's not. We're not close enough for me to. I don't think on his list of people to get tickets to. I don't think I want it.
Oh wow.
You never know. Never know.
You never know till you ask, right?
That's right.
So John Putch reminded me something when I mentioned Eve Plum. So John Putch was a child actor of the 70s and 80s, as was Eve Plum. So they used to go to auditions together and practice reading together back then. So they go way back, 40 plus years.
John, I'm telling, I wish he was on here. He is so great. He made it look like a $40-50 million production. I thought it just looked so good. It was just so well done. I'm so glad the extended release is still out, because a lot of the really beautiful stuff that he did got cut for time. So now that's all back out there, which is great. Yeah,
it's a visually stunning movie. I mean,
it is.
Yeah, it's amazing
from start to finish. Yeah.
On Hallmark Plus, I couldn't even find the regular version. All I could find was the extended. So I didn't realize I was watching an extended release, because I just click on until afterwards, like, oh, this is the extended. It's like, well,
so glad
I'm never going to want to watch the regular one.
That's
Like,
awesome,
why?
yeah.
I have all these beautiful shots, and I'm sure.
And I got to thank my
wouldn't wanna
cousin
miss.
Jonathan, because if it wasn't for my cousin, who was a dancer, none of this movie would have happened at all, because he was the one that was really close with the head of Madison Square Garden Entertainment. And he is the one that got me that first meeting of just to connect me and the Rockettes in general. And then I said, hey, Hallmark, hi. Do you guys want to meet with the Rockettes? Because I have this meeting with the Rockettes and we want to go. And
That's funny because
it worked out pretty well.
that was going to be my question is when the project first started, how much of the concept was already there? And
It was
But
really
you
a
answered
meeting.
it.
It was a meeting of we went to I literally I'm in Connecticut. I took the trains right to Penn Station, and their offices are right there by the garden. And I just said we didn't really have the concept. We just had the meeting of just saying we want to do something. We think we want it to be a period piece.
right.
And then just sort of really loosely talked about sort of some of the parameters that we would think about. And then I just kind of came up with a couple of different takes on what that might look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little homage to Philadelphia Story. And just trying to find a way that, was back in time, but also kind of had a modern sensibility. So that's what we were trying to kind of hit. It was, but it kind of, everyone was so into it, and Samantha DePippo was the executive, and we worked really closely together on that, and just trying to really make sure it was the best story that it could be before we even started writing the teleplay. But then had to go through approvals for a lot of different people just to get to the actual writing of the script, because there's a lot of people needed to approve and be involved, and is much more than a normal movie. Kind of like the way it was with the Chiefs movie, kind of the same thing. Like so many more people involved.
Wow. That's really interesting.
So another fun fact here, I heard an interview with Jenna Claire. So Maggie's parents in the movie, actors Byron Jennings and Carolyn McCormick, they're a real life couple. They're married in real life.
Oh,
wow.
And I didn't know that until she mentioned that.
I didn't either.
That's so sweet. I love that.
And I heard an interesting interview with the Keith Nielsen, who did the costumes. He was doing a podcast, and he estimated that at first he said, I think we did about 1,000 costumes. And he goes, you know what? It might've been closer to 2,000. Because when you think about the orchestra, everybody sitting out in the audience, the department store, the diner scenes, he says they were doing like 75 fittings a day.
Wow.
It was just
amazing.
A ton of costumes.
That is amazing.
And I'm sure to be able to do a period piece like this is probably just a dream for a costume guy like that, just to be doing something so different, because when he'd been working with Hallmark, so much of it's set in the present day, but to go back and do an entire movie that was almost 98% from 1958. Right. So
and the gown that he made, that he had for her at the end, it was just it was all just beautiful. Yeah.
Oh,
it was.
Gosh, the red hat, the red coat, the red gloves, the red furs. I mean, I loved all the costumes. Yeah.
It was great.
So good.
All right, so some of the information John Putch gave me, specifically, I said he gave me a whole bunch and he just wanted to give me more, but I said, okay, John, I think I got enough here. But he talked about the scene where Jenna Claire and the other girls, Maggie, walk into Radio City for the first time in the back, and it does that shot of them all the way looking back all the way to the stage. And they let him fly a drone inside Radio City Music Hall, and he said he was so excited to do that. I think we all were talking before he came on, Julie. That one visual is just so impressive of Radio City.
Wow, I was there for that. I was there for that shot. It was just, it was gorgeous, and it turned out better than even I would ever picture it in my head. And that's the thing, like, as a writer, you can put stuff in the stage direction and you can picture it in your head, and it doesn't always go down the way you picture it in your head, but sometimes you get really lucky and it's better than you pictured it in your head. And when it's John, it's always better than you picture. Wow. It just was beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
It really was. It really was.
And he talked a lot about working with Radio City Music Hall, how good they were to work with. But Radio City Music Hall had their own crew, and Hallmark had their own crew. And the two had to work together. Just as there were a few little growing pains at first, but they got all together. And in the end, it was pretty seamless, and they were able to work together for those 3 days and make it all work out.
I was just hanging out, so I didn't hear about that part. I was just like, how am I going to get my picture with the Rocket? Let's make sure I get my picture with the Rockettes. And I didn't even get I did not get a picture of me and all the Rockettes in a line, because when it was my turn for the picture, it was time to start shooting again. So,
Oh,
I
no.
don't actually have that photo. I have me and like a few of them in a selfie. I had a picture with Anne Margaret, which she signed. I sent to her assistant, who signed it and sent it back to me. So I have that, and I love that. And just it was fun to just kind of hang out and get to know some of the actors and that's kind of what I love going to set just to talk to people and without hopefully not bothering anybody.
Right.
I did get to do, this doesn't happen all the time. I actually did have to write a little bit. We were running along on something. I can't remember what it was, but I definitely had to kind of condense a scene in the Radio City shoot where I actually felt useful. And I am like, okay, see, it was good that I came. Because
so you could rewrite it.
I want to know if you stood on the stage and at least tried to do one of those kicks.
I
think that's what I would do.
I stood on the stage. I actually did stand there and I did look out at
the
thing. And so I did get to stand there. I thought in my mind, if I do a kick, it's too cliche. And that's what everybody does. So I didn't do it.
Oh,
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And also, I probably would have broken or twisted something at that point.
I'm assuming this one is true, but Julie can confirm the original working title was Spectacular Christmas.
That's true, and I still can't remember what the name of the movie is. If you put a gun to my head and said, "What's the name of the movie?" I would say Spectacular Christmas. That's what's in my head.
Does it run?
I'd have to look it up, to see if I was right. Yeah.
So does it run with that first name until it almost aired? At what point did they change?
When did they change it? Yeah, I think they changed it at some point after they shot it. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Even the bar, the movies always change. Sometimes they'll get one through all the way, which is great.
Right.
But the Barcelona movies were changed, and I'm just trying to think of the more recent ones. The Chiefs one was a secret name the whole time, so it never even had a title until they decided to call it that. And now I can't remember any other movie I've ever written.
So I've said before that
once they're done, they're done. It's out. They're gone.
They're gone.
I get your brain. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, you have to make room for the new thing.
That's right.
That's right. You move on.
So I've said that Jenna Claire's become my favorite Hallmark actress. I think she kills it in every movie she's in. But John reminded me, this was the first time she'd ever done like a television movie. She'd only ever been on stage before. And that she kind of had to learn filming in bits and pieces. Yeah. But
it's completely different acting. I can't even begin to describe. It's like me trying to write a horror mystery. Like it's not the same. It's a completely different technique. Because when you're on stage, you're projecting, you're over emoting, when you're doing a musical like that. And this is all quiet, subtle, it's so different. I'm so impressed that she did. I mean, obviously I'm sure she had other training besides musicals, but just the fact that she could just snap in and do it like that was pretty amazing. It's great.
Yep. And Derek had done a little bit of TV, but the two of them ended up being a fantastic combination. I have more casting questions I want to ask you a little bit later.
Well, the fact that none of them were singing isn't so. My fun claim to fame is I've had more Broadway people in my movies than anybody else, and they never sing. I've had because One Royal Holiday, which is one of my favorite movies that I've done,
so good.
It was before Broadway opened back up after COVID, so we had Victoria Clark, and we had Laura Osnes, and we had Aaron Tveit, and we had Tom McGowan, and we had it was just like this list of people, and they sang for like 5 seconds. A Christmas Carol. And so Jeremy Jordan, I had the Hanukkah movie.
Jeremy Jordan and Hanukkah, right? That's like,
I ain't singing that either. I love him.
Man.
Sad.
He also mentioned, and I don't know how much time you go with Anne Margaret, but he said she was very nervous, but a complete sweetheart. She just really wanted to do well.
Yeah, she was very quiet. Very, very sweet, though.
I mean, this is somebody that was opposite Elvis in Viva Las Vegas. I mean, once upon a time. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think she's...
I still come across that video where she's dancing.
That's an amazing video.
Yeah, it's a great video.
She's done a lot in her life. She's just like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and... I could not believe we got her for this. It was crazy.
How did that end up going down?
Idea.
No idea.
I have no clue. Honestly, it was probably John Putch because he knows everybody. He has connections. If he knows who he wants, he can usually find a way to get it.
He goes after it.
Wow.
I feel like it was him. If that's like a vague little blip in my memory that I think it might have been him. So let's just give him credit for it.
Okay, we'll give him props for that.
That's too funny.
And then a little Hallmark magic. My last one here's a little bit the shooting locations John told me about. So I guess only 3 days were filmed in Manhattan at Radio City Music Hall, 1 day over in Brooklyn, and then the rest was pretty much shot up in upstate Albany, Kingston, Poughkeepsie. So yeah, but 4 days kind of in I guess you would say New York proper there between Brooklyn and Manhattan, and the rest was upstate.
It was pretty interesting. I have a great picture. It's one of my favorite ones where it was one of those NYPD signs where they literally closed down the street in front of Radio City and had the movie on it. And I was just, who gets that either? Who gets to
right
that street to film? And then the tourists are taking pictures, and I was just like, hee. I was just very. It was. I don't get starstruck, and I don't get too. This whole thing was just overwhelmingly amazing and exciting, and I was definitely just in shock that it was happening. I mean, it was great. I had it.
Wow.
Now, I never thought I would have a bigger movie happen than that, but I guess the Chiefs one ended up being even bigger than
well,
that.
that was pretty big. Pretty big too.
But I didn't get to go to set. I didn't go to set for that one, so
really,
Radio City still remains #1 in my set visit thing. Yeah. It didn't work out for that to get to Kansas City at that exact day, but I heard it was miserably hot, so it probably was for the best.
That movie cracked me up. It was so good. I really enjoyed it.
It really,
Oh, thank you.
It's a funny one.
Yeah, because so many Hallmark movies are filmed in the summer for the Christmas season, but this one was in the cold in January and February. So
this one was,
it had to be really cold upstate that time of year, I'm sure. So
yeah, it was cold, and it was. It's funny because I always think of things of COVID or not COVID. It's like a lot of my memories of this shoot are, having to take tests before you could get on set, and there's a whole guy whose job was coordinating COVID tests and all that stuff, and
man,
they looked a little different then because my 3 movies around COVID were this one Royal Holiday, and Wedding Every Weekend. And you can see in all the movies where there's like a little more space between people, and there's not quite as many extras and all that stuff. So I'm glad that's over.
Yeah,
for sure. We all are.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, Rich, does that wrap up the fun facts?
That are the fun facts.
Okay,
Thanks for confirming. I think we had them all right there.
All right, excellent. Okay.
All right. So, Rich, your question's up next.
Oh, I get the next one. Okay. Well, I guess this kind of goes into a little bit. Julie's already started talking about the process of writing. I'm just kind of curious how long it took from the time you basically started, whether it be an outline or whatever, till literally the final draft was done. I mean, how long are we talking here?
Wow, that's a really good question. I could look on my phone, but you'd have to cut this.
I mean, are we talking months, a year? I don't.
I think it was a few months. I mean, it's really not about the writing process on my end. It's about the kind of the waiting for approval to move on to the next phase.
Okay.
I would say that it went through the normal amount of drafts and the normal amount of notes. And luckily everyone seemed to be on board with what we were doing. And, obviously the changes are made. It was definitely too long because there were so many people in this movie. There were so many side quests and subplots and stuff like that. And, it always made me sad to have to cut any of those because they all felt really interesting and important to me. So it was definitely long. So that was sort of one of the things that took a little bit, longer to get through, is to sort of just try and trim this into something manageable. The reason there's an extended cut is because even then it was still too long. But generally, it takes me, it just depends how it's flowing, like I have a page count I like to meet every single day. And I try and get through that. And I normally do kind of the fast draft, the vomit draft first, and try and get everything that's in my head out there. And then I like to kind of go back in and start really writing and fine tuning. It's more fun for me that way. But yeah, it didn't take any longer than normal, probably a couple months to write the actual teleplay, and probably a couple months, maybe a little more for the outline, because that's the part everyone was approving. Right. I always find the outline actually to be more difficult, because that's where you're really getting into the nitty gritty of the story. Like, I know the dialogue's the dialogue, and that's, to me, that's the fun part, but it's just making sure everyone's character arcs are making sense, and everybody's, everyone's taken care of, and everything's at the right place at the right time. That's the harder. You have to cut. That's where you're coming up with all the, the meat of it Teleplay part is
Wa-
the fun part, in my mind.
Was Hallmark more involved in the story than a normal movie you might be doing, seeing how
They're
this was a
always
big,
involved.
obviously
I
big
mean, they're
budget? Yeah.
always highly involved in the story. I would say more this time because it was such a high stakes project that everybody
Right.
needed to be fully. I don't know, I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but I just know that there are more people reading every draft and reading everything that comes in and making sure you're getting more notes from more people. But when you have a good executive, that person will kind of condense everything into one thing and give it to you like that. So it's not like you're getting 10 phone calls. You're getting one phone call with, where Samantha would sort of just distill all the notes down into one document for me, and we would talk about them, and then we would sort of talk out whatever, if there was never kind of a question or anything like that. So I have my one point person, and she was the one sort of dealing with all the madness and craziness and chaos, and just left me to do what I was doing. So, and then I generally like to stay with the project all the way through production. If I'm close enough with the producers or the director, where if there's a couple lines that need changing, I would rather do it myself than have somebody else put it in last second, because you can kind of tell the difference in voice,
Right.
So I was able to do that too, which was great.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right. Rene?
Yeah, I had a question more about sort of the story. I'm sorry, I have to kind of read it because I'm not the best with memory. But what I wrote down was like what I really liked is Maggie in this story wasn't just a romance. It felt like she was learning who she really wanted to be, uh, and the Rocket Sisterhood helping her bring that out in herself. And was that always sort of the heart of the story, or did that evolve as you were writing this, or was that kind of the main target that you were going for?
Well, it was kind of in the research and the story breaking itself where I did talk to some Rockettes and people involved with that, where in just researching them and seeing that the sisterhood came up so much, that was such a huge thing. And wanting her to have these these people that she's becoming close friends with, where even one of the characters had never really had a friend. She couldn't trust anybody. She was trying to
Yeah.
claw her way up, and then this magical sisterhood brings everybody together and makes them be the best
Yeah.
that they can be. So it kind of evolved that way, where just in my research, seeing that come up over and over, it felt like that was something we could not ignore, or why we wouldn't want to.
Right.
But it's almost, that's why I love this movie, because it's sort of a love story with with Jenna Claire and Derek's characters, but then also with these girls who find this family together, and then she's finding what you can do when you have the support of people around you. And I hate to say this, but like a lot of times in Hollywood, women can be pretty awful to each other, and you're very lucky if you can find people that really can support you and really do want the best for you. Like
Right.
there's two other writers who we call ourselves our work wives, and we're like this little, we just, everyone knows we talk every single day, and it's Nina Wyman and Tracy Andreen, and we just we truly, if I can't do a job, I want them to have it. If they can't have it, they want me to have it. Like, we talk every day. We could never do this without each other. So we have that same sisterhood feeling that the Rockettes do, which is why I think it was easier for me to write that, because I get it.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of had that Janet's character. She was kind of competitive at first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's what
then she let him in. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, you got to open your heart and let them in and trust people.
Yep.
Very hard to trust people in this industry, truly. I mean, I've been burned before, and it's real, and it's hard to trust people in any kind of entertainment, whether it's Rockettes or musicals or plays or screenwriting.
So you really got that. That's one of the things I was curious about. Like, I thought, no way are the Rockettes like this nice to each other, But it seems like they really were, and that really warms my heart to hear that. I really like that.
It was
I wondered about that.
They are amazing, and they're athletes. I mean, what they do is
Oh, yes.
it blows my mind how hard that is. When we went to a show while I was writing, and when it was all sort of getting, when we were working everything out, and we went to see a show while they were in season. I was just I had only been once many years before, where I wasn't thinking about I wasn't thinking about all that stuff back then.
Right.
Just sitting there watching them, just thinking, my gosh, like, it's amazing to me. I mean, they are in such good shape. The fact what they to do
Yeah.
what they do, a lot of them are moms. They have families. They're amazing women.
Yeah,
Wow.
they truly are.
I'm glad
Um,
to hear that.
so this film takes place during Christmas, but at its core, it beautifully captures the excitement of being young and standing at a crossroads in life. Have you ever made a decision in your own life or career that felt as risky as Maggie's?
Moving to LA, pretty much
Yeah.
would be it. 'Cause that was literally I didn't know anybody, and that the stand-up comedian guy that I met, he couldn't really do anything for me. He was just a writer. Like
Right.
he didn't have I really had to do it myself. And so I moved up there. I got a job waiting tables at this restaurant in Beverly Hills and just sort of, figured stuff out. But that was a pretty big one, just moving to LA by
Yeah.
myself. Like,
I bet it was.
Knowing no
old.
one out there, right? Oh my
Didn't know
gosh.
anybody, had a lot of crime going on outside my window, and it was a little scary. It was definitely, I laugh about it now.
Well, yeah,
But,
I bet
you
you're
laugh about that,
removed.
but like the helicopter lights are like coming through.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my
Through
gosh.
your apartment.
Wow.
And the suspect's probably right outside your door. So like it was just that was definitely a risk. And actually,
Wow.
I will say maybe the second one is moving to Connecticut and just believing that I could still keep working and have, like have the same connection to the industry,
Mhm.
but living out here,
Huh.
which it worked out. It worked out good. So yeah, that was a great decision, but that's another one that was hard.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right.
All right, Renee.
So, I don't want to ask anything that's too personal, but I I found the dynamic between the main character and the mom very interesting.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that was something that you pulled from your own personal life experience, like where you maybe had. I can see a parent going like, "Are you going to become a writer? Why don't you do something? Get a job in doing this or doing something else." Is that something that was kind of in your life? You don't have to answer if that's too personal,
Actually,
but or it's just a creative thing that you did.
no, it was a creative thing because my mom,
Okay.
my mom, she was not very expressive, and she's not
Mm,
doesn't say a lot. But what she always would say was that I would do it anything I put my mind to. That I would decide if I decided I was going to do it, I was going to do it. And so she told me that it didn't worry her in the least that I was moving to LA by myself to pursue this because she knew that like anytime I decided I would do something, I would make it happen somehow. So I was never discouraged. My dad, he's passed, but he was a big theater nerd. He went to
oh,
San Francisco State and he got a master's degree in theatrical lighting.
Wow.
And never, but then again, that's the stage. It's nothing we ever. It didn't have any connection to me to Hollywood or anything like that because he just by the time I came around, he had already gone to Vietnam, came back and just needed to get a job and was given an opportunity as a longshoreman. So my dad
Mm.
is probably the only Jewish longshoreman with a master's degree in theater. So that's always a good claim to fame. But I think he saw me at the very beginning and he was so excited. Like when I first started working as an assistant, that's when they were able to come visit before he got sick. And he was just, all he wanted to do was talk to the lighting guys. And he was so excited about it. So like they've all been really pretty supportive. My son, this is funny. I'm probably more cynical than my parents because I know what it is. Like they didn't know what I was getting into, but I do know it. And my son is very musical. He's very talented, and I don't want him to go into the industry at all. If I could, you know what I mean. But I'm not saying I'm not discouraging it, but I'm not encouraging it. But he's
Okay.
He's going to start applying to colleges, this fall. So I'm like, you can minor in any fun theater, music, whatever, but I'm going to need you to major in something else.
We're in the same boat. I have a daughter who will be applying this fall as well.
Is that right?
So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy year, but yeah, he's like everyone keeps saying, oh, he's so talented. He's, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking like, please don't move to LA. Please don't move to LA.
Well, it sounds like the creative genes run strong in your family for sure.
I guess. It's funny because my son plays guitar and he sings, and that's what my dad used to do. He used to play guitar and sing in San Francisco in, like, you know, in nightclubs to make money and stuff like that. So it's definitely there, but I just know how hard it is and how much the industry is changing. When people ask me for advice on how to break in, I literally cannot tell them. It's completely changed from when I started. There's nothing that I did exists. So, you know, because my stuff involves fax machines and pagers and a book, that would tell you the names of all the producers, and you had to go through the book, and you'd have to fax
corded phones, and
it's completely changed.
Getting our Netflix and DVDs in the mail,
Oh no, it was way before that.
Even before that,
no, this is the 90s. There was no help.
Oh, 90s, wow,
I really like that interaction between her mom and her. I just thought that was a lovely part of the story.
Oh, thank you.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, and I agree, Renee. I think that the scene in the restaurant when she finally tells her parents, when Maggie tells her parents, and the mom and dad are walking away, and there's this sort of smile on the mom's face when she turns around, and it's almost like she's proud of her for standing up for herself, you know. And it kind of reminds me, maybe related to what you said about your mom, how she always told you could do whatever you wanted. Although, of course, in those times it was still.
That's right. And that's what I wanted to do is that in those times, women were just not encouraged to go off and do what they wanted to do. They were expected to do certain things, you know, in society, especially if you're from a family in Philadelphia that, you know, they have certain expectations. So that's what I really liked about that dynamic, was because that's when it was really starting to change. Is exactly when, I'm pretty sure that's why we picked that year. Sort of, that's when things were. It wasn't quite the 60s yet, you know. It was just it was just at that point where women were starting to think, you know what, I don't have to do it like this.
And you had a male version counterpoint too, with the son wanting to be a photographer and a graphic art. I forget what it's called, not graphic artist, but it's something like that.
Photographer,
photojournalist or whatever.
Photojournalist. I mean, that was in the same vein, just you know, except this was the dad and the son. I thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah. So, did any of the characters surprise you as you were writing the story?
I think Janet, you know, the one who was sort of the the tough one,
right?
Because I loved how it wasn't that she surprised me in the writing. It was just that the actress brought so much more to that role, so much depth to it, and you know, I'd love to take credit for some of those moments, and maybe it was there a little on the page, but then some, you know, when you cast the right people, like that whole cast brought so much more to it, and that's what you want. You know, you don't want to just, none of these movies are just like, oh, this was a good movie because it was a good script. Like, you have to have that magical thing where you have an awesome director, producer,
right?
You know, the cast, everybody in that cast was fantastic. So it was, I wouldn't say a surprise, but I just really enjoyed finding these voices of who they were, and realizing how different each girl could actually be, but still be strong enough to be doing what they're doing. Because you can be, you don't have to be really strong or any of these. You can be a different person and all have the same goal and just come at it and looking at it in a different way. But like all the scenes of them in the restaurant, was my favorite, because I just love that camaraderie. And, those scenes, there was a lot more in those scenes that we had to cut.
Those were really good too.
And I just love that, because the focus on the friendships, which you know, we really saw, I feel like too, into Barcelona, you know, those movies. And I just thought it was
movie. I guess I do that a lot. Like Field Day was one that was a friendship. That was definitely a friendship movie.
The focus, and like you said, because women are so hard on each other, and it's just it's so great to see them on screen. And you might bicker, but nobody else can mess with my friend, you know what I mean? Like it's like that, you want that, build each other up, which I thought was really well done in this movie.
Thank you.
Well, that's those scenes were where they each kind of told their story. So I wish they were
background.
Those are hard, because you know it's not easy to do backstory without it seeming like really, you know, just okay, here comes the exposition, here comes, like, you know, you just, like, it's hard to get that's the hardest challenge of any of these movies, is to, you know, give a backstory without it being really boring, or without depending on voiceover.
Right.
No.
So were there scenes that ended up becoming more important than you thought they would?
Um, that's hard for me to remember. I actually, well, I actually think that the moment they first saw the stage, the way that it was shot and the way that with, like you said, like the drone and all that,
Yeah.
it was a moment in the script where they walk in and they gasp and they're so, when they see the stage and they're
Right.
just overwhelmed by it. And it was such a small moment in the stage direction, but it just became such a beautiful moment where you could see in each character, specifically in each character, sort of their reaction to that moment and how
Right.
much it meant to them. So yeah, I think um that's another example of it being elevated past
Yeah.
what I wrote.
I found it very curious. So Hallmark took a chance with Jenna Claire and Derek as the two lead roles in this big, huge film. Two actors who'd never worked for Hallmark before, and obviously it turned out incredibly well. They absolutely killed it. Did you have any inclination as you were writing that Hallmark wouldn't be going with some of their tried and true actors and instead would be taking a chance on two brand new actors to the network?
I am very rarely consulted for
Oh, wow.
I have no, you know what, I the only reason I would ever become a producer is to be able to have a little bit more, not more say, but just be involved in that kind of a thing because it's fun. I have on a few occasions been able to watch the audition tapes of, for a lead role of one of my movies, and it's just so fun to watch like 10 different people do 10 different versions of the same stuff and see, and it helps me. But yeah, no, I never thought about it, and I never really have anybody in my head unless I already know I'm writing for that person for sure, like Tyler, or you know what I mean, or something like that. That's the only time. Otherwise, they become actual real people in my head that are not, they're not connected to any actors in my mind.
Right.
So sometimes
interesting.
who is going to be in it before you write, or
Well, I did with with Ashley and Allie too, with the Barcelona
oh,
movie.
right, with
I
the two
knew it was
Barcelona,
them, and I knew it was Tyler for
the
the
Chiefs.
Chiefs, and um not that I can't remember many more than that, honestly. Like I think, or sometimes you'll get a cast before you've written the next. Like I'll do like a final draft for production sometimes, where you're doing like last minute things. Oh, we can't shoot here; it needs to be here, so we need to change it to reflect the new location, all that kind of
Right.
stuff. And then sometimes I'll know who the actor is by that time. So every so often I can kind of go back in and tweak if I think there's something that that person would be really good at, or, but I don't always get that opportunity. And you know what? The Hallmark actors are so good; they could they just make it work. I never really worry about it, and I don't think there's anybody where I've seen the cast and went like, ugh. I don't think that's ever happened.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I can't think of
They have such
think of a
talented
time that's happened. No, not at all.
crew they can work with. That's
Oh,
great.
wow.
Well, after the movie came out, was there a compliment or reaction from someone that really stuck with you, like a fan, a Rockette,
Well,
a family member?
yeah, it was Kristen Chenoweth actually,
Oh,
because they showed the movie at in Radio City, and she before but she so basically she said like it was so wonderful and I loved it so much and I cried and all that, and that was to me just because I just love her, so that was my starstruck
Oh,
that was my little starstruck moment for that night. When people it's very weird, but when I get compliments, like I love them and they're wonderful and I appreciate them, but like um if I ever really believed all the things people say about me, I would be probably not even working anymore because I wouldn't think I needed to try so hard. Like I don't.
yeah.
I still treat every job like it's my last or first.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
I try and well, more probably like my first. I don't want it to be my last. I never I try not to rest on my laurels at all, and I would never phone in anything. So I love to get the compliments. And as a writer, of course, we're all neurotic, so we only remember the negative reviews. I don't
Oh, yeah.
even for that. I don't really remember anything super negative. I don't. I mean, it was just I think that I would have loved it if the extended version had aired the first night. I think it would have. It's a better
Right.
movie that way, the way it is now. But that's not even possible with the way advertising works and the time slots and all that stuff. But
yeah.
they did it again. They did it right away. They had the extended version. But yeah, so I mean, that's a very long answer to me saying if somebody really amazing said that something really nice, I probably already forgot it because
well, Kristen Chenoweth, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Yeah.
But then I tried to message her about something once, and she didn't even answer, so she didn't really know. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean?
That's funny.
She said,
It wasn't personal. She was just probably busy. She didn't have time to answer.
Yeah.
All right. So you've written movie sets in all kinds of places, eras, and time periods. Is there a location or like an era or Christmas tradition that you still haven't explored but would want to?
There are a lot of locations I want to do. Yeah, there are. I want to do Scotland. This is just places I want to go, by the way. I really wanted to do the river cruise movie. I didn't know they already had these in development, and I went in. I'm like, you guys, I'm gonna do a river
the Love
cruise
on the Danube.
Market. And they're like, yeah, no, we already have two. So you can't do that.
Tracy did pretty good with that one.
Yeah,
so,
she did. She did. And that's the thing.
Those
Like,
were
you know,
good.
that's if anyone else was going to do it, it needed to be Tracy. So, and hers was awesome. She did a great job with it. So, I moved to New England because I'm so enamored with the whole vibe of Connecticut and New England, and I just love Christmas. I love where I am. I mean, it feels like I really do feel like I live in kind of this perpetual Hallmark movie, especially in the fall and the winter. And so I don't feel like kind of that. When I lived in LA, all I wanted to do was get out and go somewhere that was cute and walkable and it had colonials and felt like a Hallmark movie. And now I don't feel that anymore. So now I want to go farther. So I would love to do, like I said, like Scotland, Switzerland, which I don't know if they've done. This is a problem. Sometimes I get a really good idea and then I look it up and it turns out, oh yeah, they've done it. I can't watch everything. You know, it just doesn't.
Right.
You guys are there. You guys know way more about all these movies than I ever would. And I have there's a couple podcasters that I know that are encyclopedic with their knowledge. And I would just text them. I'm like, hey, did we ever do Hallmark ever do this?
Do we ever do this? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rich.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna use.
I know.
Rich,
I know
use
what you're
Rich.
talking
Yeah.
about, but
You know, I mean, I set two of my movies where I live, but even though they were set in my town now, but then they were filmed in Canada, but like it still said the name of the town, so I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
We reverse engineered a Christmas festival because I put one in the script only because our town doesn't have one, and it worked. I was like an evil genius. I'm like, watch this. I'm gonna put a festival in, and then they're gonna feel like they should do one, and they did.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it was good. Yeah.
I always like a Christmas festival and a Christmas tree shopping scene. I would love those.
I do love the Christmas tree lot with the twinkly lights, and you know that's the thing. So our challenge for Christmas is always, and it was easier on this movie because it was stuff that no one has. It wasn't kind of the usual. It was all new, really. But the challenge for Christmas is really just doing kind of those things we all want to see in a Hallmark movie, but try and find a different way to do it.
Right.
That is the challenge, but that comes from the characters. That comes from these people that now exist. Like, how is this person going to do it differently?
Right.
So,
what is something that people almost never ask you about a holiday spectacular that you wish they would?
Ooh. That's a really good question. I don't have it. I don't even know. That's a really good
something you want people to know that.
No, because I actually, because we kind of already talked about it, so you didn't ask it, but I do like to tell people but you didn't ask it, but I like to tell people kind of how it came about because I want, because I just like the idea that we just sort of, just kind of the random family connection that made this huge thing happen. That just was just really, that's not a story we tell that I'm able to tell a lot because it hasn't come up. So so that would have been my answer, but I already told it to you. So,
well, that's all right. That works.
All right. So we're going to do some rapid questions here, right?
All right. Let's do it.
You guys ready?
The most nerve-wracking part of any interview for me. I swear to God.
Hopefully they're not hard.
Really?
They're not.
I have no idea what they're going to say either, Julie. So here we go.
All right. So here we go. You ready?
Okay. Yes.
Eggnog, yes, please, or ooh, no way.
Do I get to answer?
Yes, go.
Yes. 1,000
Okay.
times yes.
Renee?
Rich?
So this one actually. Oh, Rich, go ahead.
Yes, please. But I think I know what Renee's going to say since it was a movie that we covered of yours, Julie. So,
Renee?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to ask about a movie. I'm going to ask something that Rich mentioned to me. Is there a thing where you mention or have ranch dressing be in every movie? This is not mine. This is Rich's question, but I've taken it from him.
You must have seen my post the other day about the World Cup. Did you see it?
I did not, but maybe Rich did.
I have a thing. I love ranch dressing and I hate bad ranch dressing, and I put it in. It just sort of happened and then it became a thing. So I think I mentioned it in probably like 4 or 5 movies about ranch dressing. And now it's just only because now it's like a thing. It's like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
If you
Now you have to do it. Yeah.
There's probably 10 people in the world that know that's a thing. But I just posted the other day because all these I was just in Boston yesterday because I wanted to we went to see Les Mis, and then I wanted to hang out with Scottish soccer fans. My family and we hung out with like the Scots. It was amazing. It was so fun. But apparently they're all into ranch dressing because the Europeans don't have it. So there was a whole story about how they're trying to smuggle ranch dressing back into their countries, and that the TSA is telling them that's a liquid and you can't. And I posted that I've never felt more connected to the world as I do with this dressing. I take it very seriously. I don't know why.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
So Renee, eggnog, yes or no?
Or ooh, no way.
I'm kind of in the middle of the road. I mean, I can take it or leave it. Honestly,
Okay.
I'll drink
All
it.
right. I want to be respectful of time, but Julie. So the third movie we ever covered was Finding Santa, and in that movie they served hot eggnog, and Renee called out as like, "Whoa, eggnog's not supposed to be served hot right off of the stove."
That's right.
I don't remember what happened there with that. I'm sure I must have seen a recipe where
it was heated up.
How it was done.
Oh.
Renee, can I encourage you to try the Kirkland boozy eggnog next year?
I was just going to say spiked eggnog.
I'm going to write it down right now.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the whole.
That'll
knock you out.
We get that.
Kirkland boozy. Got it. I'm writing it down so I don't forget.
We do get that. Not gonna lie. All right. So next question: real tree or artificial tree? Julie.
Well, oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. The answer is real, but we're Jewish, so I'm going to tell you.
Oh,
the answer is real tree. During COVID, me and my husband lost our minds and said we're going to get a Christmas tree because you know what? Everyone bought one weird thing during COVID, and that was ours. And we bought a tree and we tried to put it up, and we had every single thing that could go wrong. Where it was clear that God was like, nope. This is not.
Oh, no, you're
God, with the hammer of God said absolutely not.
Oh man!
And we took it out of the box, and it was back in the box and going back to the place within 2 hours of that attempt. So I love a Christmas tree. I love a real Christmas tree. I decorate my friends' trees. I go and hang out with my friends and their trees. I love Christmas more than anybody, but having an actual tree in our house was apparently the line that we could not cross.
That was it. Yeah.
I have stockings. I have I have a ladder of ornaments now. It's like a vintage ladder, and I put all my ornaments on the ladder.
Aww.
I have all the other things, but a tree, no, that was not going to happen.
So
but I love them. So real.
All right. What about you, Rich?
It used to be a real tree, but as the family's collected some really nice ornaments throughout the year, we're afraid they're going to break sometimes on the real tree. So now we're in an artificial tree. So all those ornaments are displayed but safe, and we don't worry about them falling. So it's been a little bit of both throughout the years.
All right, Renee?
Yeah, I like a natural tree in theory, but just for ease and convenience.
Yes.
And I used to live in a place where they had a vaulted ceiling in the living room. Mm-hmm. And Costco has like this 8-foot or 10-foot tree. That was my dream to have just by the window a giant tree. So I like an artificial tree just because it's easier.
You can get that spray. That's what we do. We get the garland that's real now. Like that just I put it in I have those little sticks. I'm good. I'm happy. It smells like
we like the pine scented candles. Candles. Do I know how to speak?
I have a pine candle behind me somewhere. Yeah.
Candles. Yeah, we light those. We're artificial trees all the way.
And pre-lit too.
And pre-lit, yeah.
That's
I'm
nice.
not stringing anymore.
All right. So classic Christmas carols or modern holiday songs?
Should I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
We like the classics with the Cole, like the Nat King Cole and all that stuff.
Yes.
And that is what we prefer. And that's what's on and that's why I like Hallmark radio tends to lean toward those old standards.
The classics.
Yes.
Rich?
Yeah, I'm with you. The classics. Yeah.
Renee?
There's a Hallmark radio?
There is on XM every year. They do Hallmark Christmas.
I did not know that.
Hallmark, and all the Hallmark actors say, "Hi, this is Jenna Claire Mason, and this is my favorite Christmas song." And then
I did not know this.
I didn't know that either.
A reason to subscribe to XM at least for a month or two.
It's pretty good. Yeah, they do a pretty good job. Yeah.
And they do a yacht rock Christmas now too. But
oh, they do.
Yacht
Rock.
My family is literally at a yacht rock cover band show right now across the town.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I'm embarrassed to say this. What was the question?
Oh, that's all right. Classic Christmas carols or modern holiday songs?
Renee, you and I are just...
I'm embarrassed.
That's friends.
Classic.
That's okay.
and my favorite song is "It's the Most Wonderful Time of Year." I just love it. I get goosebumps. I get choked up. I just love it.
Yeah,
awesome.
Classic all the way.
All right.
Open presents on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning? Well, Julie, never mind.
No, don't jump to conclusions, Amy.
Do you do? Okay.
Conclusions.
Okay, sorry.
So I'm telling you, we have everything except the tree. And
except the tree. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's why we like, and we're both Jewish. That's what's so funny. Like, we just love Christmas. We have everything but the tree. So Santa, and my son's 17, so like, it's a little bit different. But Santa, we have stockings, and Santa does come, and he eats his bites of cookie, and the reindeer have their carrots, and there are presents in the morning from Santa, and we spend Christmas Eve generally with other with friends or whatever, where there's a real tree or something.
Yeah. You gather around someone else's tree.
Someone else's tree.
Christmas Eve.
That's awesome.
How about you, Rich?
Yeah, it's Christmas morning for our family.
Yeah. Renee?
So I come from a Hispanic family, and we would go into Mexico because I was born here. We would go into Mexico, and the whole family would travel, and they would meet. So we would open them Christmas Eve at midnight.
Oh.
Right? Because everybody would stay up till 4 or 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get up at 12, 1 or 2 o'clock and have tamales and menudo or whatever.
Oh, there you go. That works.
So for
yeah,
us,
that's
it was
great.
Christmas Eve because the kids weren't patient enough to wait till the morning. It's like, no way.
Right.
Christmas Eve for me. And I like that.
All right.
Christmas Eve at midnight. Yeah.
Right.
Here's the last one. Ugly Christmas sweater, wear it or quietly judge it?
Wear it. I have a whole collection.
Same.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
have an ugly Hanukkah sweater. I have an ugly Christmas sweater. Yeah, I like an ugly Christmas sweater party.
Yes.
But,
Me too.
I've even been that sort of. I mean, we all do that in all of our scripts now too. Like that's not, that's kind of a go-to now. But I do love it.
The ugly Christmas sweater. I mean, I've been wearing a sweater, and someone's like, "Oh, did you wear your ugly Christmas sweater?" And I'm like, "No, I like this one. This one is
that's the normal Christmas.
Mine. Thank you very much." Usually, it's one of our kids. Usually, it's one of the kids, but
it's one of them. It's one of them Beverly
I just
sweaters
love,
from the
I'll go all out.
Goldbergs.
I don't care. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, I guess I'd say I admire them from a distance, but I do want to go to an ugly sweater party like I see in so many a Hallmark movie. I'm dying to go to one.
Awesome.
Well, I don't like sweaters, generally speaking. I'm too hot.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't like wearing a sweater. But if I would wear one, if there was an occasion, but I'm in Southern California. I mean,
yeah,
our Christmas was 75
That's
degrees.
That's why I moved, Renee. It didn't feel like Christmas. It never felt like Christmas.
I lived in Orange County all my life. Like, I could not experience Christmas, with actual snow or something like that. I don't know what happened.
Well, my husband grew up in Woodland Hills, so he's like he's an LA guy. Yeah.
So I like them, but I don't wear them.
Hey, Renee, you got to start a ugly t-shirt.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tradition there.
That's a good idea.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
All right.
And look, Julie, you can write one now. You can write about an ugly shirt.
In California.
I'm actually picturing Rene like putting ornaments in his beard and lights.
Oh yeah.
And just sort of working like that. I think that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Funny. I might do
They
that.
won't let me
year.
do Southern California. They won't let me do like hot weather Christmas. They just don't.
Oh,
they
won't.
Or like an Australian Christmas,
No, because everyone wants the Hallmark Christmas. Everybody wants that look, and I just think if they do it, it's going to have to be a really, really good reason. It has to be like a big. I've pitched a bunch of times, and it just doesn't ever really work out. I'm sure there's been somebody's done it, but generally they would rather have it be,
have the feel, the snow, the cold, the sweaters.
Yeah. That's okay.
All right. Well, we have taken up a lot of your time, Julie. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Like, no one's here. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, your whole family. You're like, woo, let's go. Pour another drink.
I'll watch. I wonder if it's blasphemy to say this, but I'm going to go watch a K-drama now that I have that TV device.
Now that you.
I really love them.
That's so funny.
I don't know if you guys have gotten into them. You may not have time, but they're actually great. If you've ever watched
No, we haven't yet.
Oh my God, they're fantastic. They're like high budget Hallmark movies the last 16 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm watching The Amazing Attorney Woo or something like that.
Yeah.
See, Rene knows.
My mom watches it in Spanish. It's funny. Yeah.
It's a good starter one, actually, Rene. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
All right, Rich and Rene, do you have any closing thoughts for Julie?
Thank you for doing this. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Totally my pleasure. I love that you guys still think about this movie and love it, and it just really makes me happy. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for writing such an amazing movie. I was telling before you logged on, Julie, I was telling everybody else, I saw the Rockettes for the first time just this past December, and I literally had waited to watch the movie. My wife and I knew we were going to go to New York eventually for Christmas, and it turns out she was there on business, so I literally had waited all these years to watch it. Watched it on my way to New York.
Oh, really?
And I saw the Rockettes like 2 days later.
Oh my gosh, that's really cool. That is amazing.
I mean, thank you for you and John Putch, everybody for just making just an incredible movie. It is so darn good.
It was. It really was.
Now, do you have any upcoming projects that you can tease or mention at this time?
I can. I did some work on a Christmas movie for this coming season.
Oh.
But I probably can't mention it yet.
Okay.
And I have a couple non-Christmas things that I'm working on that I can't mention yet either. Nope, got nothing.
Nothing. Well, hey, the fact that we know something is coming at Christmas is good enough for me. Yeah. Yes, that's very exciting.
I actually think it's starting to shoot. I think you may see something about it in the next couple of weeks. Let's put it that way, because I think they're starting soon. But I just finished sort of my last bit on it. So.
Oh wow!
Rich will find it.
Very cool. Very cool.
And we'll be reviewing it, Rene, in a few months.
I promise you, you'll if you pay any attention to that kind of stuff, you'll see what I was talking about. And then you can ask me a follow-up question later.
Definitely.
Once you find out, yeah.
All right. So where can our listeners keep up with you? Do you have a website, social media?
Right now, it would just be Instagram. So it's Julie_Sherman_Wolfe. I'm not a regular poster, but I try. I'm trying more, trying harder.
Do more, Julie. You're not doing enough.
I'm trying.
Movies you're writing.
I feel pressure. I feel too much pressure to do that, and I keep thinking, well, I can't be an influencer. What are they going to say? Like, oh, here's the twisty she puts in her hair when she crawls downstairs to sit at her desk. Like, what am I selling? Here's my, like I'm wearing yoga pants and I have my hair in a bun, and that's the fabulous life that I'm selling. Would you like to pay me? Would you like to collab?
Would you like to collab? Yeah, be an influencer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and sharing your stories. Until next time, cheers.
Cheers. My glass is empty.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Cheers.